Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Get ready with some quips, web-slinging trips, and wrist-fired thwips on this week's All Reboot, Book 2 of The Amazing Spider Crit. This is your GM Patrick here, your Garfield main stan. He should be getting a third movie, Fight Me IRL, and joining me in battling science gone awry and retelling the origin story once more are my 5 friends and your sinister 6 players. Across the digital table from me, an old man listening to records in the school library like it's 1969. It's Myles playing Rami.
Good evening.
On my right, he's a big scaly lizard man in a lab coat. It's Tyler playing Edrass. To his left, hotshot cop played by Dennis Leary. It's Rebecca playing Alyndra.
Hello.
To my left, move over Mary Jane. It's time for a new blonde damsel in town. It's Drew playing Gnak Feldspar.
The other Garfield deserves a third movie too.
And finally, to his left, Uncle Ben getting blasted one last time on screen. For old time's sake, it's Gibert and it's 148.
I'm pretty sure the Garfield 3 is called Paris Most Wanted.
That's a good joke. That's a solid one. This is why I like the season. Gibert's the anchor. He comes up with some fun.
Yeah, I mean, I get a couple seconds to Google stuff.
Yeah, exactly. She said something about Garfield. I'm going for it.
I gotta Google Garfield. What do I got? James Garfield? Nah, nothing. No presidents. No presidents.
We all hate Mondays.
Everybody hates Mondays. It's old hat.
No way. Monday is new episode day.
Oh yeah,
Cosmic Crit. It's the best day.
Monday is the day that I get to play Starfinder. We also my favorite people
play on Mondays. It's really transformed the day for me in general. And when we're recording this, it's a holiday in Massachusetts that at least Gibert and I hopefully got to enjoy.
I have my work does a little thing called No Meeting Week, which is this week. So this week I got no meetings and mostly lots of chores. So.
Yeah, that's the trade-off. Oh, right. No. Guys, let's get back into this week's episode. And last time on trivia, last week's episode, after taking on the World Seed, you spent some time on Hib, rested up under the care of the Bantrids and Uso's watch, and he thanked you for solving the mystery beneath the planet's surface with a present. What kind of magical fusion did he gift you, and what level was it?
Oh, I know.
No, Gibert.
It was axiomatic, and it was a level 20 fusion seal.
Oh, yes. Very exact and very correct. Question 2. Returning to Absalom Station, you were met by Isafina Knox, who is now working as a liaison representative for Abadar Corps, and she escorted you to the Golden Vault. And along the way, you were met with news stations extolling that a massive starship had entered the Pact system and was currently headed for what space station besides Absalom? Another station.
Boy, I'm glad I answered the one about the fusion seal.
Any guesses? Oh, unfortunately, no guess. That means no answer. It was the Adari there.
Oh, it was the Adari.
Oh,
they're going for the Adari. Yeah. Question 3.
I think of the Adari as a ship and not a space station. Which,
it's both. It's both. So,
what's the difference between a ship and a space station when you get right down to it?
Is it moving? You all have been promised a small fortune to first meet with a representative of Allure 2, which we did last week, Miss Cambrisa June, and she warns of an inability to peer into the future, and wishes you luck as you're headed to the Planara to talk to what Pact governing body? Pact governing body.
I think I have this one.
Oh yeah, what's that, true?
Is it just the Pact Council?
That's part of it. Yes, the Council Directorate is who we are headed to now. No curse, no boon. That's fine. That's fine. What shenanigans can happen in a council meeting? Just a little local council meeting.
Life finds a way.
You guys,
it depends. Is Gavilar Gnor on the council?
You're led outside the Golden Vault's main entrance here, where another, now a luxury transport, maybe with some security vehicles, whisks you away across the station's eye to the Planara. And it is a huge building that overlooks the entirety of Absalom Station's eye. And as you take a large elevator up, thick magnetic doors indeed reveal that you have a perfect view in this huge, expansive meeting chamber of the expanse of Jatembe Park, ringing the station's most exclusive, prestigious buildings. In the middle of this room is a semicircle of chairs and desks sitting opposite this wall-spanning window. And yeah, each seat is pointed at the kind of triangular display in the center of the room, where there's holograms showing all different news stations and things like that. The members of the directorate are kind of milling about in a few small groups, the 7 of them. And as Isafina Knotts enters, they start rearranging their chairs, sitting down in a sign of respect to have you come speak. And a Riforian counselor kind of surreptitiously skirts behind some of the other directorate members. You see him murmuring something to a seated Kasathan there. But ignoring them, a heavily augmented Shirin moves to the front to greet you. Let me take us to the map here. The Planera. And I'll show you, this is Klindalik. They are very heavily augmented Shirin with a fairly friendly voice, but it does sound kind of robot-y. And they say, welcome. We have been hoping you might grant us more insight into the current situation. Driftrider crew, Starfinders, for all of our sakes. Welcome to this emergency meeting. Please have a seat.
I sit on the biggest chair I can find.
Tyler, I need you to play about 14 Syrinscape chair squeaking sound effects.
One, just like one after the other.
Oh no.
Each one is 4 seconds long, so it's like a whole minute of...
Tyler in real life just WD-40'd up his own chair, so he can't even fully work that anymore.
Yeah, I think I do somewhere. I think under I think Syrinscape actually does have that kind of noise. Pretty relevant.
They surely have a bar stool getting knocked over or something. But.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to sound more like, like a metal door, scraping along the ground.
Pure
just kind of
podcast audio poison.
Yeah.
Forever obstinate, Rami is going to stand.
That's fine. Rami, why don't you make me a culture check and seeing Klindalik?
Oh man, I want to be that 18 so bad.
Oh gosh, you still got a very high roll here with a 28. I think you recognize indeed Klindalik is a Versite. So she's from Verses.
Ooh, so Rami gives them the finger guns.
Well, yes, a council member here, but they are a staunch proponent of cybernetic research. And is walking the walk, talking the talk, because they have many kind of advanced technological augments on their person.
So I mean, are they kind of buds with Rami? Because that's definitely something that Rami's a proponent of, even though he doesn't augment a lot of himself.
Mm-hmm. If you've not met them, then you've probably been at some kind of like medical conferences where they've been like a speaker before. So maybe you've seen her speak. Cool. Yeah, but so she'll acknowledge everyone, but invite you all to sit down and she'll welcome you and talk about this situation, how this is an emergency meeting, a session of the directorate to kind of plan their next moves, in particular the fleet for Absalom Station. The information that they are getting from this crisis out in the rest of the Pact is like a day old. So like when they get information, stuff has already happened. All the news is somewhat on a delay, so they have to act very proactively, which is what this is all about. Yeah, so they want to first ask you, do you have any information from what you learned on Hib to provide to the Directorate? Is there anything that you can heed us on, or perhaps warn us of whatever this ship is?
Well, the ship, as you know, is very big. And the one we encountered, if it is indeed the same class of ship that we encountered on Hib, was old enough to start melting down. If we had not stopped it from the power system from overloading, it would have taken the entire moon with it. I cannot imagine if something like that were to happen, the damage that could happen to all the surrounding stations in the system.
A human counselor, kind of like a light shines on her as she'll step forward, and her microphone, pops open. And this is Kumara Mela Cruz. Let's see here. She's a female member of the Directorate, Pact Council, and also the Prime Executive. So she's kind of the top official here in Absalom Station. And yeah, has a fairly tough stance on things like corporate criminals. So she was actually the one that brought all the major litigation against for the Hardscrabble Collective against Astral, I almost said connections. Oh no,
Extractions.
Yeah, and is a fairly, I don't want to say completely AOC-like character, but she's had several assassination attempts because of her stances on and rooting out criminality in the corporate world here on Absalom. So yeah, she looks at you perhaps with a sidewise glance, Mr. Feldspar, for some of the history of your family company.
Well, pardon us for saving the galaxy.
She will look you over though and say, well, the ship that you found underneath Hib is not the exact same as the one that is coming our way right now. That the ship beneath Hib indeed seems to have been derelict for a great deal of time, whereas we have no indication that is the case with this. What was it? The name the Sivs gave it, the
World Sea.
Yeah, no, this other ship.
Ark Prime.
Yes, this Prime. Do we know the Bantrids did not take control of that vessel? So do we know, is this still in Sivv hands?
We don't know. You would have more information about that than we would at this moment.
I unfortunately must admit that the council does not.
Well, I really think there are only two things that could be operating that ship. Bantrids seems unlikely. Everyone that I've met has been joyous, to be honest. Or
you don't really remember that fight, do you?
That was not a Bantrid. That was something impersonating a Bantrid. Anyway,
column A, column B.
Or Sivvian technology automation, which is what I would probably guess it to be.
Yeah, I'm just going to slowly introduce the council members here. A Kasathan will speak up next, and you see a little placard at his station on the desk that says, Lynn Camulin, Kasathan, Korashin, Korashin Lashunta, looks like an ex-military man, and indeed, I think perhaps Alyndra of him as kind of like a war hero from Castravel. Indeed, he had a lot of clout in the swarm invasion of the Pact, like 30 years ago or whatever. So he got his current position. He is the Director General of the Stewards and a member of the Council Directorate here.
Perhaps he served alongside my mother.
Yeah. He I might have been like the commander in charge of her unit at the time.
Looks like a more smug Elon Musk.
With eyes or ear stalks, head stalks. He'll lean forward and say, "It's like, well, what we do not know, unfortunately, of the situation is a great deal. But if they are as technologically advanced as this world seed that you explored, then I'm worried that our current defenses are not going to be enough for whatever the ship is that is moving towards the center of the Pact system."
They've told us that things are happening to ships that get close to Arc Prime. Can you tell us more about what's going on out there?
Let's see. I'm trying to jump between voices here to get all the characters brought up. Yeah. Next will be a Kasathan, an actual Kasathan council member introduces himself.
Is it Keanu?
I could do a Keanu voice for you, Myles, if that's what you want.
No, like my old character.
It is not Keanu.
Yeah, my old character was a Kasathan named Keanu from the Halloween episode several years ago.
Yeah, your character, you say it like that was like a long time thing. No, but if they are surfers, that's a funny thing for Kasathan. We haven't had a lot of Kasathans on the show.
Oh, we haven't.
No, they introduce themselves. I am Milgan Navaris Kachalandar. I am a representative here for the Adari, and we know that whatever this ship is, it is not on a strictly centerward course towards the Starstone or towards Absalom, for it seems to have taken a detour. Part of the vessel seems to have broken off, and we believe is heading towards Hib, and the ship itself seems to be making a wide arc through the system and is now headed for the Adari. If it was looking to take the most direct route, then it would not take this detour.
Interesting. What can you tell us about this ship?
What ship?
The one that broke off from and is headed towards the Adari.
So the main vessel, the Arc Prime, is heading for the Adari, like.
Oh, and the other ship is headed
just
to him.
like, yeah, like part of the rocket seems to have broken off and is headed through Leovaran space.
So Rami kind of clears his throat and it's like, listen, I've been through enough meetings that could have been an email to know that we're just posturing here. If you guys have information that you can give us, that's great, because listen, this is not our first rodeo. We know where this is going. We know we're going to be sent somewhere to deal with this. So let's cut to the chase, because we can trade data. That's not a problem. We'll send you everything we've got on what we just went through. But the less time we spend jabberjawing, the more time we can actually get to solving the problem.
We believe you are being paid for your time here. If you think it is better spent elsewhere, then you're free to go. But
we are being paid for our time, but my compatriot is correct. We don't seem to have that much. So let's cut to the chase. If there are things that we need to know that we have not been revealed to us yet, let's get everything out on the table so we can try to build a plan.
All right, well, let me stop you there, you numbnuts, you two numbnuts. Once again, reminder, you're the foremost experts of everything having to do with the ship in the universe. They don't have
horrible, because we don't know anything.
Well, you as players probably do not know a single thing that you've retained over the last 21 episodes of this season. But maybe let's let some other people talk. You're here to inform them. You're here to help them. Okay, so I'm not going to role play with you when they're just like, "What? Why are they yelling at us?" I don't want to get into a good cop, bad cop of like, tell us what you know. It's like, what? What do you mean? What we know? I don't know anything.
Well, we're just. I think Rami would absolutely be a little flustered and confused as to why they're wasting time with a meeting. You know, okay. Like it's just the character, not me. I'm just saying that the character would just be. He's a pain in the ass. That's who Rami is.
Okay. Well, once again, I'm not finding currently too much difference between Rami and Myles. No, Edrass or Andis, does anybody else have any things that they would like to add or talk about with what you found in the World Seed or what you've looked for?
I mean,
on Jedrat.
I mean, I think maybe Edrass would say we've had a few skirmishes and we've seen the inside of the World Seed. There are a lot of we've investigated a lot. If you have any directed questions about the ship, something you are particularly curious of, you can go ahead. We will answer those questions the best we can. To give you a brief rundown, it is just hard to understand everything we solve the Sivvian tech because it is so much more advanced. The power core there generates more energy than anything in our system, so the scope that we are having to come to understand is extremely large, and doing so in a short time proves difficult.
A fairly reserved, very old-looking elven man in the back here on the table will step forward. This is Losfarin, another Castrovellan elven administrator who perhaps you know of as being fairly pragmatic and very reserved in a lot of their council discussions here. Will look forward and say, it's like, well, we've had a great deal of problems to deal with the last few years, ever since you all went out to that drift rock. But this one, we have next to no time for arguing amongst ourselves. If what you say is true of their technology, we need to be able to apply what tech that we have in order to assure our security. I do not want to expend any resources that will go to waste, if that will be the deciding factor in our safety. He kind of looks over to a still turned chair that is not facing you, perhaps giving it eyes. And of course, as it turns around, it is nothing other than Gevalarsk Nor. I knew it. Nor. Gevalarsk Nor, the Eoxian ambassador. The last time you saw him, now he sits on the Council Directorate. He'll turn around, very Bond villain-esque, with bony fingers steepled, and say, Drift Rider crew, how's it hanging?
Gevy, how are you? Been a long time.
I'm
upgrade
dead.
You got?
Still dead, Nat.
First name basis. I'm glad we're still there.
Yeah, well, you apparently, I knew this all along, but you're not indeed Sizrak, but Feldspar, I knew it.
You got me.
What my colleague from Castroville is alluding to is the fleet of Eoxians that ignored the orders to stay put, instead have gone to meet this threat head on. The Eoxian fleet has decided that it would not wait to be destroyed, but rather try to seek out and bring arms against this new threat.
That sounds very brave, but foolhardy at the same time.
I would warn you that your men are already dead, but you already knew that.
Well, they
Get
could.
it? That's an undead Eoxian joke.
It is not funny.
Oh.
Their existences, their corporeal bodies could be destroyed.
I make a note in my notebook of things that aren't funny.
And don't you dare laugh about it. Not you and us. 148. This is one of the first people you met when you became alive, Gibert. he was at the.
Oh, that's right. I forget.
Party.
He's my best friend, not my nemesis. That was the other Andus.
It's true.
Right. The last council member here I've not introduced is a non-binary winterborn Riforian, another alien species we haven't had a lot of on the show before here. And this is a new Draxian representative on the Pact Council. A previous one was assassinated. Former ambassador from Treforum. So they have stepped into the role, and they kind of look like more extreme elves, but they have long, almost bat-like ears. And this Zia Cho is their name, is very well groomed, maybe middle-aged, bluish white hair and kind of similar skin. Very stylishly dressed, but perhaps not fashionable. That makes sense. and they'll introduce themselves and say, we have a great deal of work before us. We need to discuss our defenses and allocate them appropriately, or we will not stand a chance. And as you mentioned, Mr. Quinn-Darr, time is of the essence. So let us discuss. We all have many questions. Perhaps we can do some breakout sessions and chat things up.
I will say, if it does give anyone here a peace of mind, when we were exploring other Sivv facilities, they did have a highly technological system that did shut down communications in quite a large radius. So it could be that is a system that is employed on this ship, and your fighters, your ships have merely been caught inside that dark zone of communication, and perhaps they still live, or perhaps they still wander that area, but it is very difficult to communicate within the range of some Sivv tech.
The Prime Executive here, Mel Cruz, will step forward and say, that is very wishful thinking, Mr. Vaaranas, but unfortunately we have had confirmations of some of the first ships that met the Ark Prime in the outer system. Well, we have found wreckage of those vessels, so it is indeed a grave situation that we find ourselves in.
I understand. I only bring it up as information that whether another team be sent or we be sent, I would not expect much communication to come from that team once they get within a certain range of the Ark Prime.
Well, I hope you understand we do not plan to send you perhaps our best assets and the most knowledgeable starfinders in the universe on this subject to your death. So I would put that right out of your mind currently. We need to study and figure out how we can meet this threat.
And you will need one very big computer, because boy, it has those ships have a lot of whirly-digs and doohickeys that do a lot of awesome things.
Okay. So, we have some time here to do some more one-on-one discussions with some of these directorate members. Basically, the shape of this conversation is going to be very similar to one of the Book 6 episodes of Season 3, if you guys recall, which was allocating forces of the Susquehanne defense to different missions and things. It's similar, but you're going to be doing kind of fleets in different missions here for trying to create some kind of response to Ark Prime. There are 20 fleets that they have to assemble, and all these different council members have obviously their own motivations as well as their own personalities, motives, reasons, or ways to influence them. In this episode, you guys can chat up and try to influence a number of them. Unfortunately, you won't have time to roll on everyone. You can each make up to 5 social actions during this council meeting. One of them can be assessing one of these council members and getting a grasp of what they see as the truth of this situation and what their kind of motives are. And then another one would be to try and influence them, try to get them to help you in one of these various missions. And over the course of chatting them up, you will understand basically they're wanting to divide these 20 fleets into a few different missions, or not just fleets, but forces as well. One would be rescuing the Eoxian fleet that has gone off to try and stop the world seed. Another would be rescuing and or escorting the Adari, which is currently in its path. The third is the defense of Absalom Station, the fleet of Absalom Station, I guess I should say. So that's everything. That's station shields, the armada, things like that. And then the last one, and you get a sense that all these mean different things to different council members, but the last one is station security, and that is security inside the station itself. If this thing comes and suddenly there's a million soldiers in the streets, if they don't account for that, then that'll be very worrisome. There's also extremist groups and people that will take advantage of like a terrible tragedy like this or extreme danger and try to make the most out of it. So those are the 4 kind of elements here, and I have them represent them down here at the bottom of the map with a couple little pictures. One's of the Eoxian ship, one is the Adari, one is a top-down view of Absalom Station, which will be the security, all the different areas, and the last is the station itself, the station's defense itself.
We did decide sort of how many units worth of force to apply to each one of these problems.
Yes, but unfortunately it's not just a you go here. At the end of this, you have to roll to convince them to move in certain areas. Otherwise, they'll just kind of put them where they want. And if you want to assess how
can you
different
tell us
ones will vote,
what kind of checks these will be?
So
I'm just saying, if it's like a diplomacy or bluff check, then we need to associate ourselves where Gnak rolls those, because he's got the highest possibility of succeeding. But if they're engineering checks, he ain't gonna help very much with that.
So I'm going to say we'll call each of these 4 that you do have to make. We'll only use 1 skill for each of them. So if you want that to be diplomacy, you can do 1 for diplomacy. If you want one to be engineering, if you can figure how that skill would represent your personal expertise in talking about the tactics for the areas of concern, that will be how we do that. And then those will be secret rolls at the end for how successful you are. That doesn't count towards your 5 maximum kind of social rolls that you can make here before that. That'll be towards the end.
So how far out is the Eoxian fleet right now? Do we know that?
The Eoxian fleet, left Eox to kind of go towards the Adari and try and intercept. They've been doing like hit and run kind of tactics. And for the most part, they're one of the larger private militaries in the entire Pact system. So they have a good chance, but they probably, will need some help. But yeah, do you want to talk to any particular council member about that, or about any of these, station security, the Adari, or anything like that?
I think Andis, only knowing Gevalarsk here, will approach and ask about the status of how these Eoxians came to set out on such a heroic and potentially foolhardy quest.
Do you want to try to assess his kind of take on the okay, so go ahead and roll either culture or sense motive.
Oh, I hope it's not sense motive. Oh boy,
it's either of those. So
right,
culture
it is. 25, pretty low.
Yeah, as you're chatting him up, he says, yes, Andis, the fleet of Eoxians, my fellow Eoxians, are trying to save us, even though we have 0 information to give them.
They are indeed engaged in a heroic battle, and they must be commended for their protection of the Adari.
We must assist them with additional forces, as many as we can spare. For if we assist them, they can return and assist in the defense of Absalom Station. Do you not agree?
So are they currently like engaging with the ship right now? Okay, so they're all the way out there at it. So they've gone past the Adari and are trying to slow it down.
They left like a day or so prior, so they've been sending reports back.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Not necessarily as Dak, but as just table talk for possible information we want to find out.
What's up?
So why is this Eoxian fleet I know we know they're big. Is it just because that fleet is large, or is there something else that they are doing that the other ships that have gone to counteract?
They've got large capital ships, yeah. So they're able to do like long range, blast attacks, move away, try again, trying different weapon types, that kind of thing. So, does anybody else want to make an assess check, either culture or sense motive, for Nor to kind of see what might influence them in the final vote?
I think Rami does, because Rami's pretty fond of Nor.
I should mention, because you guys didn't kill Nor or do anything terrible to him. You get a +4 bonus on rolls to influence them. So if you can figure out what their motivations are, this would be fairly useful.
All right, and it's a culture check.
Yes,
that's a 39.
So
his lover is commanding one of the ships, and we have to go save them.
that's not enough of excess, because this +4 is only on the influence side of it, but with a roll from Andis as well and chatting up, you get a sense that they definitely seem very political in their, they probably care about the other Eoxians, but it would be a huge boon to an Eoxian council member to get a ton of support for the Eoxian Navy from Absalom Station. Yeah, so you can see through some of his kind of wide rictorous grin platitudes as he's talking to you, and understand that indeed this would be a huge boon to him politically. So as such, if you want to try and influence him, just double check. You get all these skills. You gain both an understanding of their motives and the true difficulty of the task associated with that NPC. Okay, so with that, you do know that they're going to be really only useful in calling upon aiding discussions about rescuing the Eoxian fleet. And if you want to try and influence Gevalar Shkanor, that'll be diplomacy, sense motive, or mysticism.
Do we roll that now?
Well, it's up to you. If you want to use one of your, this will count as one of your 5. So if anybody wants to, if you want to, now that they've kind of figured it out, Drew, go in there and try and glad hand him, you can.
So we have, let's see, 7 people to potentially influence.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a +4 to this one. All right. So I can,
correct.
I can
if
do
anybody
this.
else,
I can do this, but we might want to save my, because my diplomacy is +26 and I have expertise on top of that, which is at least.
Yeah. Well, does anybody want to roll mysticism? I feel like you have some other folks that are well trained in it.
Yeah, I've got a 23 to mysticism. It's not bad.
Yeah, and you get a +4 at this, so
right.
I do it as well. I got a 25 to mysticism.
Well, Phil, you can do these in order, so you don't have to waste if we get a success on the first one. Who wants to roll it first?
Gibert, go ahead.
Okay. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm gonna look inside. I'm gonna use my dream prophet powers to something or other. Oh, a 6 on the dice.
Oh no. Well, you got a +4, but yeah, that is. Oh goodness, that's just not a success.
Bet it's a 35. Is the DC.
Let me try.
Oh goodness gracious! There we go.
That's 41.
Yes, a success here to influence him. What are you both saying? Because you've already kind of figured out what his deal is. What would you want to do to influence him into to aiding you in your future discussions?
Rami would probably bring up the fact that he knows exactly what he's going through because, he's also had to deal with this, especially throughout their last adventure during the Dead Suns, and he would probably look how successful that turned out.
Andis,
I think I would impress upon him the need to. We need to lend them support so that they can pull back. We need all our forces back here so we can rally up and prepare for a more robust defense.
I promise, if we are able to dedicate enough forces to aid my Eoxian brethren, I could convince them to change their tactics into trying a delay and give us as much time as we can to muster our forces here on Absalom. But there are others on this council that believe this is a waste of resources. They will kind of look over at Losifarin, the elf.
Maybe we should talk to Losifarin next. I look over and give Losifarin the stink eye too. I'm on Gavilar's side.
Stink eye them all.
He's me and Gavilar, we're ride or die. In his case, ride and die.
Already dead.
Oh, ride and be dead. Ride and decompose.
So with that, let's talk to Losifarin, because I feel like this is we kind of know what Nor's whole deal is, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what the rest of this crew is after.
Yeah, I'm just going to put a little pip on Givar Snore to indicate you have succeeded in kind of chatting them over. So we've used up 4 rolls between Rami and Andis. Do you want to try and chat up Losifarin and assess them, get a read for them, Drew?
Yeah, and I think because elves are elves from Lashunta as a planet that
the planet of Castravel.
Castravel, yes, thank you.
There's a large population of elves there that have been there since ancient times, though they are not originally native.
Would having Alyndra be part of this as another Castravelian native, or as a native Castravelian, maybe hurt or help the situation?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they probably. I mean, they don't have any ill feeling towards Lashuntans, that's for sure.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he's a fairly elderly-looking elven man, very wire-thin, sunken cheeks, dark eyes, jet black, common to his ancestry, and yeah, he's got his hair pulled back into a ponytail, and loose-fitting robes with elven symbols on them around the collar. And as he sees you coming over, he'll swivel his chair around and says, "Gnak, Feldspar, how may I be of assistance?"
I could ask you the same question. We understand there's a lot of concerns in the air, and we're here to help in any way we can. We don't have a lot of information, which is the sad fact of being the most informed people about this in the galaxy right now. But let's see if we can find some common ground and see if we can stop this threat.
Right. So actually influence them or assessing them, I should say, is going to be life science or sense motive.
Ooh.
You want to try a sense motive?
We're going to do that good old-fashioned sense motive. I don't know why my sense motive modifier is so low, but here we go. Oh, because it's wisdom. Duh. All right. Oh, like the worst possible roll I could give. A 5 on the dice. We're going to throw expertise out there, so that is going to be a 35.
35 for sense motive?
Yes.
Yeah, that is enough to know that influence them will be culture, sense motive, or diplomacy. So a couple of your powerful ones here. I should mention you don't actually have to roll assessments if you feel like you can guess as to the skill that might be useful in influence them. You can just skip right to the influence check. But yeah, in chatting with him, yeah, he says, we have a task at hand, unpleasant as it may be, and we must get to it as efficiently as possible. Stalling this vessel by throwing more ships at the Eoxian fleet in a noble, though foolhardy attempt at rescue will unfortunately be a calculated risk we cannot take. I would prefer to present a stronger front at 3 other critical defense concerns that we have before us now. I don't have any qualms against my Eoxian counterparts, but if I don't believe that I heard perhaps of what the Gavilar Snore said. I don't believe that course of action will be in our benefit. He's a politician and is hoping to come out of this looking the hero. And I want to save lives. Do you understand?
Of course. So I'll go ahead and do a diplomacy.
If that's what you want to do. Yeah, what are you saying to him?
Let's see if I pass the check first.
All right, no bonus on this check. Drew's waiting to see how the dice treat him.
It's a 38 plus 7, so that's going to be a 45.
Yeah, what do you say? That's good.
I understand that there's a lot of political capital to be spent and earned here, and that we all have our own ideas about what is the best political versus military action. But most of the people in this room are politicians. Not all of us are the best military minds. We're not admirals. We're out here to try to do our best. This is where we need to put our own preferences aside and actually talk to each other and share information. Kevlar Snor is a stubborn guy, but he does have the best interests of not just his people, but the Pact worlds at heart. If we help him out, we might be able to get a bigger fleet to back, because this is just a portion of the Axian fleet that went to that. They still have a large fleet left. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Let's just talk and share and see what happens at the end of this.
If that is what you counsel, then perhaps we will understand and agree with you.
Excellent.
Who else wants to chat someone up?
Oh, I don't see a red dot going on this dude. Ugh.
I'm going to go confuse it now. He gets a blue dot.
Oh, no.
Is that good? Who knows? Let's hear from someone who hasn't chatted anyone up before. Edrass or Alyndra. Your favorite episodes. Skill episodes. Skilly episodes.
My diplomacy is not horrible.
Well, it's not old diplomacy. But like I said, there's a war general, pack steward from Castrovel or Lashunta they can chat with. Probably some other skills there. There's a very techno savvy Sheeran you can chat with, or you can just talk to basically the president of Absalom Station, Kumara Melacruz.
Let me talk to Kumara.
Okay, yeah, she'll see you coming and say, "Oh, Miss Vallis, is very nice to meet you. Your coronation of the Starfinders. I was unfortunately busy that day, but I did hear of your amazing work that you did in helping to stop that threat years ago. What can I do for you? How can I help?
I admire you as well. I think that the work you've done to root out evil where it may be unpopular to do so is a valiant effort, and I admire that. Speaking of which, it seems that all of the trouble tracks back, as far as I can tell, to Jadarat, and as you know, there is a ski resort being built there. I think perhaps the planet or the structures therein are unhappy, and we may have accidentally awakened something.
And the people there were in great danger from that Sivvian tech. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that they were, and it only got worse when they broke ground.
And so you understand why I take this station's security tantamount of all these missions. I am quite worried that while there weren't those kind of elements on Jadarat, if there were that attack from the Sivv, they would have seized on that opportunity. Yeah, I wasn't even halfway through my first term when an assassin's bullet tried to end my life. Those kind of people will seize on this opportunity. So we must prepare for that. Do you agree with me?
I do. I think that innocent lives should not be put at risk for the good of someone's pockets.
And we have many an innocent here on Absalom Station. Do you want to roll a culture check, see if you can figure her out, or do you want to roll something to see if you can try and influence her?
Can I show her my guns? I don't have a whole lot of skills.
What's your best?
You know what protects Absalom? Boom. Boom.
Oh, this one's named James Garfield, and this one's Alexander Hamilton.
I mean, I have diplomacy, I have intimidate, I have physical science.
Do you want to yell at her? Intimidate her?
I have athletics and a little bit of acrobatics. Like, I have nothing else.
Yeah, do you want to try a diplomacy check and see if you can win her over to your side?
Sure. It's a 32. Oh, and I can add 1d6 to that. Oh, 3.
1.
So sad.
I can't help you out here. That's a fail. It's so close. Why do you have to roll a 1? No, I mean, you can also try again, or you can try to talk to someone else. It does count as one of your influence checks here, but I will say you're very close, so don't have to roll too much better. Do you want to try again or try someone else?
I can immediately try again?
Oh yeah, you got 5 checks. I mean, if you want to spend the entire time like trying to win one person over to your side, that's totally fine.
Okay, Alyndra clears her throat. That was really awkward. She didn't mean to say that.
I don't know why I talked about my biceps for 5 minutes. Let me rephrase this.
All right, I'll try it again. That's a 40.
Yeah, much better. Yeah. So chatting her over, she's trying to convince you about the need for station security, and you can convince her perhaps that maybe some of the forces are better spread somewhere else. Excellent. Edrass, who are you chatting with?
So I think Edrass looks around the room and he kind of thinks, I don't think I can carry a conversation with many of these individuals. So he kind of walks over and plops down heavily next to Lynn Camelin.
Mm-hmm. Our Korashan Lashuntan soldier type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pale skin, ash blonde hair, very tight crop up his sides here. And he has indeed emblazoned on his blue uniform the symbol of the stewards and many medals of service.
So, Councilman, I mean, I can't help but feel like all these things with Ark Prime. I mean, it will eventually come down to a military maneuver, right? So, have you put any thought towards where you stand on how to approach such a ship, or how our forces should be divided?
Let's just say we're not training our combat pilots in the art of diplomacy, Mr. Vaaranas. If you want to assess his styles of influence here, it's engineering, piloting, or profession soldier. But if you've got another similar profession, that's totally cool.
I rolled a 2, so it didn't matter what skill I rolled. Who cares?
You rolled 2 on engineering? Well, like I said, you have 5 checks you can do. So if you want to do it again, it's not a problem.
Sure. That's a 3. Why not? Let's just rapid fire through these. 4, 5. Perfect. Got it on the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Whoa, you went really fast there. What this is just
34 on an engineering? I don't even know. That's probably not enough, right?
It's DC
maybe
30, so you got it.
Bam, nailed it.
On the 5th one. And you know that indeed influence him. It's going to be another profession soldier or diplomacy or sense motive.
I'll pass that information along to those who may have that skill.
And Tyler, with that, bows out of the episode. Like, you guys need me for the rest of this. See you later. Does anybody want to try and follow up with him right now? He's also very concerned with the station's defense. I guess I'm getting this.
You said that was
she is in. I'm sorry. The president, Mela Cruz, is concerned with station security. He isn't interested in station defense. So I guess I should call that like armada defense more than anything, or shields and things like that.
Gnak sees that Edrass is doing his best and seems to have figured out, something about Lynn Camelin, and he gives me some.
Edrass is talking for like 30 minutes about like ships and stuff. And
Edrass is probably doing great. If Tyler could do anything helpful, that would be a lot more useful.
Tyler, you can use your level reroll if you really wanted.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. Listeners, I know I went through them really fast,
well, Tyler can't help at all.
I rolled a 2 of 4, a 7, and a 4. So I'm just taking names over here on the side of the
I apologize. The skills for this guy are
sense motive, diplomacy, and profession soldier to influence him, to get him on your side.
Oh no, Trest, come back.
I can help with diplomacy.
So if you want to try to diplomacy, you've got 4 left yourself, right? No,
3, because I used 2.
3 left. All right. Yeah. If you want, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll suggest that having just spoken to Kumara, why don't we both defend and offend?
You may with this roll.
All right, that's a 33, but with sidereal influence. Oh, look at that. It's a, 39?
Cool. All right. The dice have gone your way for that because it is DC 35 for him. Indeed, chatting him up, he understands that you've got the chops, the military chops, perhaps, that are required for the station's defense. He understands
my Lashunta accent. So.
Yeah, we've got a couple other people here. Does anybody want to speak with? Well, Myles, do you want to speak with Quinn-Darr, the technologically advanced Sharon?
Yeah, sure.
They'll welcome you over. It's like,
Mr. Quinn-Darr of Quinn-Darr Industries. It is nice to be able to pick your brain. A technological genius, a real Elon Musk type, is apparently something in this universe.
Elon Muskrat. He's one of those little ferret creatures.
So that is an insult to all rodent-like species.
It's just an insult to all sentient life.
Do you want to try to assess their motives and things, or do you want to just go straight and
yes,
guess at
I
it?
do.
Influence. Yeah. All right, so that will be culture or sense motive. So go ahead and start with, I'm guessing, culture.
Yep. It's a 37.
37. Yes, that is a success. Diplomacy, medicine, or intimidate would work in applying a little pressure.
Just bully this nerd.
If I were Win or Sprouts, intimidate would be useful, but unfortunately that is not Rami's forte, and the only one of those 3 I have anything in is medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll roll medicine.
Okay, this is your 4th roll, so you'll have 1 left after this.
Okay,
go ahead. Oh no.
Okay, so
very, very low. Yeah, maybe medicine's not the best route. Yeah.
I mean, it's between a +8, a +0, or a +1.
So probably not. You get a sense it's like they're very interested to talk to you, and then you start laying out your medical knowledge, and they're like, "Oh yes, of course. Oh look, I'm getting a call. What's that? Oh, you need me to walk away from this conversation? I will do."
Oh yes, the thigh bone is connected to the hip bone.
You can, Myles.
Well, can we pause and do a little strategizing as a team here?
Yeah,
we have 3 of these cats left. I have 3 of my rolls left. So far, most of them have had diplomacy as one of the things. That doesn't mean that I'm going to win it every time, but I have the best option to win it if someone can make sure that diplomacy is going to be one of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have intimidate or sense motive?
I've got a pretty good medicine myself.
I have +26 to intimidate. I have good intimidate.
Okay, good.
And I also get expertise on top of that.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anyone that Rami really gives a care to talk to. I guess he'd be kind of curious about what Forehead thinks.
Wow. I'm sorry, who?
Gavlar?
The Kasathan. He called the Kasathan forehead.
Oh, Milgen.
I was about to say, I think Gavlar might have a bigger forehead.
It's all forehead. It goes forehead all the way back around.
Yeah, it's
it's a wraparound forehead.
he's got the deluxe forehead.
He's got a 6 head more than anything.
Yeah, right.
You want to talk to Milgen Navarus Kachel Andar? She'll say thank you for speaking with us. As you can probably surmise, I'm very interested in the defense of the Adari. I believe that if we were to provide enough engineers and ships, we could assist in reigniting the ship's engines to divert it so we will not even have to worry about its destruction. It'll be culture or engineering to assess their influence skill.
Okay, but I only have one roll left.
Yeah. And you can help out, figure out what to roll for other folks.
All right, I'll do engineering, I think. Yep.
All right. It's a high one. DC 37. Oh,
44.
Knocked it out the park. Good, because engineering is not an influence check for them. It'll be culture, medicine, diplomacy, or perception to let them know that you understand the difficulty in what moving or evacuating this colony ship would be.
Culture, diplomacy, perception, or what?
Culture, perception,
Medicine.
Medicine. Okay. All right. I can't roll though.
Nope. It looks like Rami and Edrass are tapped out here.
I'm going to try to get Klindalik and Milgan together and try to mind meld with the two of them. I'm gonna. I guess I'll start with Klindalik, but I'm gonna try to make some medicine checks for them. And
so hang on, before we do that, is there anybody that wants to talk to that has roles to identify what Zia Cho, like to assess Zia Cho?
I don't know. Those ears are too pointy. I don't like it.
Yeah, we know a couple medicine checks, so let's let Andis chat him up. They went back to school to learn all about medicine again, right? Or life science.
I just woke up being like, I know how to remove people's organs without killing them.
I know surgery kung fu.
right.
Yeah, so you want to roll for the Sheeran?
Yeah, for the Sheeran, we'll see. Remind me what the Sheeran's interest was. That was that in Absalom and Absalom safety.
Klindalik is most interested in the defense of the Adari.
Okay. So they're both like on board for defending.
Oh
the Adari.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Perfect. That's actually very helpful. Good. 39.
That's a success.
All right. Great. I'm going to make a medicine check for Milgan Nivaris Ketchtal Andar. And not just because his last name sounds like my first name. Hey, 44. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm
much success.
I'm going to explain to them the ways that we can deploy troops efficiently to evacuate civilians while creating trap points to sort of draw fire to unpopulated sections of the ship should it come under fire, and ways that we can bolster. People don't need to breathe anymore.
They just put them in spacesuits and boom.
Put them in spacesuits. Yeah, it's medicine 101, guys. Spacesuits.
Drew, do you want to try and chat up Zia Cho? You got a lot of rolls left.
Oh, I got 3 rolls left, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with this.
Yeah. So they, as I mentioned, are Riforian and a new council member. If you want to try to assess first, it's culture or perception.
Oh, I think we're going to do a good old-fashioned culture check.
Fairly low, DC 32.
Oh, got it. But we're going to roll expertise anyway, just because I can.
Yeah, don't waste my time, Drew. The influence checks, I swear, if you ever roll a dice without the need to and waste time on this show, I just hate it so much. Diplomacy or sense motive, I wonder which is better for you. I guess also survival or athletics for them.
I do have a plus 19 to athletics, but no, we'll do diplomacy. Oh no!
Hey, guess what, Drew? Natural 2. You will want to roll that expertise dice.
Now roll that 8 on the expertise.
I was about to say, oh my goodness.
Yay, there it is.
Burning through them. Yes. So yeah, you needed a high roll. That was DC 34, but you can talk to them. They are concerned about station defense, and you get in your conversation with them that they have a bit of a acerbic sense of humor. You find out they have a lot of experience. They were a battle flower, a former soldier of Triaxis, and yeah, they don't think Absalom Station can be defended adequately without taking some risks and bolstering the Armada's forces. They are willing to help out with that. And you guys have some allies in your fight here to make these changes. So for each of these 4, the rescuing of the Yoxian fleet, defense of the Idari, Absalom Station security, which is this one here, and station's defenses, these are each different skills that you guys can assign and try to roll. And each time that I believe you make a roll, there's a specific DC for each one to convince like everyone to get on board. You can call on bonuses from the folks that you have assisted here in assessing and influencing. Each one that you do is a +2 for that matter. Each DC you exceed by +5, you can assign another fleet. A successful to do 1 fleet. And if you fail at any of these, then basically the Pact Council gets like a vote as well and can move them where they feel is fit. So do you want to start with any one of these 4 different areas of concern? Once again, rescuing the Yoxian fleet, moving the Idari, rescuing the Idari, Absalom security, and Absalom Station defense.
I'd be interested in the Yoxian fleet.
I kind of tend to agree with Myles on that. I think that if they are sort of the largest standing force in this system, then we need to relieve them and at least allow them to mount a shooting retreat.
Yeah. What skill do you want to assign to that? It could be any skill that you think would be appropriate. If you want to use your piloting expertise, you can do that. Engineering know-how, you can. It'll just X out. We'll use a different skill for the other 3. So just keep that in mind.
Rami, you still great at piloting?
I am.
Oh, perfect. That sounds like a real piloting sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll roll piloting for that.
Okay. So there's a couple people that you can call on, including Lusfarin and Gevelarsk, of course, for that. Do you want to use, I guess there's no reason not to. Try to get them to come together, give you a +4 bonus.
Yeah, why not?
Andis, do you want to try and help as well? Roll to assist.
Yeah, I'll assist on piloting. That sounds good.
Okay. Do you automatically succeed or you got to roll?
Oh, no, I automatically succeed.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it then. All right. So give us a roll, Myles.
So, and that'll be +6.
Yep.
All right. It's a 51.
With the +6, rescuing the Yoxian fleet. You've beat the DC by 5 or more, so you can actually put 2 fleets there for this roll. And I mean, you can keep going. You got 20 to put out there. Do you want to roll again?
What do we think?
I think, well, if you ask Gevelarsk, they're like, we will need more for the defense of the fleet.
I feel like we could add at least 1 more.
All right.
To our pals at EOX.
What, 1 more is fine with me.
Do you want to just do 1 more? If you get success, do you want to move 2?
I think we need more than,
Yeah, we'll do 2 more.
Gevelarsk spent like 2 whole years earning our trust. And we still don't trust him.
That's true. And it's able to...
Yeah, it's automatic success. So,
all right. So That's another +6. So let's do it. That's 37.
Ooh, that is not a success, unfortunately. I get to.
Oh, it's such a huge chick.
I get to take a fleet and assign it basically how the council wants. So that'll be at the end.
Can we blow up the council? Like, can we just take them out?
It's a very different AP when you become the most wanted terrorist in the universe.
I'm liking this.
No, but if you want to roll again, you can.
All right.
You just have the capability of losing more political power here.
It's a 41.
41. You're not gonna like it. That is a fail.
Are you kidding me?
No, these DCs are level 16 DCs for sure. Yeah, that 7 on the dice is not going to succeed.
Let's switch focuses a little bit then.
Yeah. Well, I will say probably the one that you think will be the least difficult to get people to agree to would be station security. The one that will be the most difficult is defending the Adari.
Then maybe we should focus on defending the Adari.
Yeah, I feel like defending the Adari is something that, like, we just got a bomb drop that they think that we could get the Adari working again, which is like, can we do it? But I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I'm willing to spend a couple of dice rolls to try.
Yeah, what skill do you want to use? I mean, and feel free, diplomacy is on the table.
Well, let's do diplomacy then, baby.
Does anybody want to aid Gnak?
Can I aid?
Yeah.
I auto aid.
Okay, so you've got a +6 to this and another +6 for your expertise. Is that right?
Yes, so that's 47 plus 6, which is 53.
And that is a success. Just a success, as you are able to convince one additional fleet here to go over to the Adari. How many times do you want to...
is just a success.
I'm sorry. Did you say 56?
Because it's 47 plus the
53.
Is it only 53? I can't do math.
12 plus 4, right? Yeah, 53 is not a great success. How many are you looking to move over?
Should we go one more?
I think yeah, move over 2 if we're allowed to.
Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do another diplomacy.
Oh no. Natural 1. Yo, yeah. You see some of the people that are more concerned about the defense and security, perhaps wavering. And yeah, Milgen, Navaris, Kachal, and Dar is like, her eyes are pleading with you. It's like, please, Mr. Feldspar, you must recoup yourself. We need more fleets to head out to the Adari.
I think we've got enough left in the bank. We can make another roll on the Adari.
I mean, you've still got 14 fleets.
Yeah, right.
Just
right, because my guess is the council's gonna like put them around Absalom mostly.
The council's gonna default to that.
They're gonna sort of bias to that. I think
that's what I'm saying. If there's no council, then maybe.
Definitely, the universe blows up.
All right, I'm gonna roll another Diplo for
heel turn Rami.
Go right ahead. Does anybody else have like a lot of training in diplomacy?
I mean, I have 15 ranks.
Does anybody else
have 0?
That's a 43 plus any additional that we get.
43 plus 6. If we've got Alyndra aiding here, that is just a success. So another fleet to the Adari. Now we've got 2. We've got 2 on the Yoxian rescue, 2 on the Adaran. What else do you guys want to do here? Do you want to keep rolling these harder ones?
I mean, I think we should just keep rolling the harder ones right now. Once we get down to maybe 8, we start going for the easier ones. I think maybe.
I was about to say, you're pretty sure that. I mean, this is the least that they would have done is like 2 each of these hard perhaps suicide missions. Yeah, well, why don't you roll me another piloting check, Myles, and we'll go back to the Yoxian fleet.
All right.
And Drew, you can roll diplomacy at the same time to see if you can.
That's a 40.
Eke out another one. That is going to be a success there.
All right. 2 of them bad boys on there.
And a little bit better roll here for now. We got 17 on the dice. 7.
Another 53.
Another 53 is another single success for the Adaran mission. So 3 to each of those, 11 left. What do you guys think?
Should we keep going on the hard ones?
Yeah.
I
do
think
one
so.
more on each of those.
Yeah, one more on each of them. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Give me another piloting, another diplomacy.
All right. Oh.
Looks like a fail there on the fleet rescue. And what do you got, Drew? 47?
Yeah.
49, right?
Yeah, 38 on the roll plus what we get.
38 on the roll, 39 on the roll.
39 plus 4, 43 plus 6, 49 is just a success for the Adari. So we've got 4 to the Adari. How do you guys feeling? Do you want to keep rolling on these?
You want to try to do one more to the Eoxian fleet?
Sure.
One last one. Put one for you, Eox.
38 plus, 6?
That is a success. Just a
All
success.
right.
Single success. So you've got 4 to each of those. Do you want to try and influence station security over station defense?
I feel like we should provide sub-station security just because there's going to be a lot of panic, a lot of people trying to get out of the system, a lot of people are going to try to, evacuate and things like that they're going to need a lot of help. I think that is definitely something we should try to do.
This one's a fairly easy one. What kind of skill do you want to choose for this?
What are our options?
Maybe engineering for this one as we are pouring over the schematics and the map layouts, and we're checking to see like what the capacities of all the different airlocks are, and where we can resupply on the thing.
Yeah, so evacuation routes, all that stuff, like power core, distribution, all like very important.
Thing.
Yeah, so you can get a +6 to this if someone can aid.
Tyler, is Edrass going to aid?
How many ranks does Edrass have?
In
engineering.
Tyler literally checked out the episode. I couldn't even tell if he was here.
I rolled another 4. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
No, wait,
you don't even have to roll.
Rolling, Tyler.
You got +15.
That's not what we're asking.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there he goes. Bye.
Go ahead and Andus, do you want to do the engineering?
I want to do it. Yeah.
Ooh, good one. All right, so that is enough to secure 2 more as a critical success. 2 more to just station security.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to try and top load that over defense, or how you feeling? Because
I feel like one more there wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay,
I don't know. Do other people agree?
How many do we have left?
Currently 10.
Oh yeah, go one more.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Another critical success.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to stop kind of arguing points for defense or station security, they're just going to divide up the remaining and basically double up on station security, because you've got a couple of council members talking for that.
These people are such dweebs.
Well, the only one really arguing for more defense in the immediate armada is the Lashunta Lynn Camulin. But yeah, a lot of people are very, very worried about the million or so folks on Absalom Station at any given time. Yeah. At the end of this meeting, they've written up some actions, some directives. They start signing some paperwork to immediately start sending out these fleets. Gevalar Schnorr will come over and thank you for aiding him and in basically doubling what they would have sent out to the Eoxian, and of course the Kasathan representative Ms. Andar will do the same for the Idaran. Doubled up those numbers as well. Yeah, and as you guys are finishing up your meeting, Isafina nods, says, "Oh yes, the credits have been transferred to your all's accounts." Maybe 3 or 4 hours have passed in hashing all this out, and you guys can get those in cred sticks, just printed off immediately with golden abadar kind of notes on them. But perhaps you'll have to do so quickly as you are leaving the Planara. There's another breaking news event. You see what looks like the darkened form of the massive starship and kind of blurry footage with the headline underneath it, to be continued. Things are going to be going down over a very short while, but a fairly long while in the rest of this book. Maybe it's at this point. I held it back a little bit secretly last week, but this is book 2 of Devastation Ark. It's called The Starstone Blockade by Eleanor Farron.
We hadn't talked about like book numbers in a long time, and so I was pretty sure we were about to start book 3.
Nope.
This is when we were like going through the episode. I was like, wait a minute, what book are we in? I was like, oh my, we're at the beginning of book 2.
This is just part 1 of book 2.
Oh boy.
Gibert, I was right there with you.
I was like, oh yeah, Dominion's End. Here we go.
I mean, to be fair, we spent like 20 episodes on one book, right?
Yeah.
Like that's very high.
I assumed that it was a whole
right?
book.
I think our longest book before that was like 15 episodes, maybe. I want to say the end of season 3 was probably like one of the longer ones. But yeah, this will. I mean, actually, I think this one might be a little faster than book 1, but we'll see. That's it for this week's episode, guys. Thanks for playing with me.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thanks for RPing it up, listeners. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time on Cosmic Crit.
Good night.
Bye.
Space pirate noises. Woo!
I stole the paper bird again.
Hee-hee.
You've been listening to Cosmic Crit, an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. The Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.